Hey everyone, how's it going? I hope you're having a great day, and I'm really glad to have you here with me on this video. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Ryan Beach, and I am the principal trumpet with the Alabama Symphony Orchestra, and I also host a podcast called That's Not Spit. It's Condensation. I'm teaming up with Houghton Horns to bring you a video review of this Shires 4S8 C trumpet. This is the first time I've had the opportunity to play a Shires trumpet for more than 3 or 4 minutes, just borrowing it from somebody else and kind of messing around with it. Houghton Horns actually sent this to me a few days ago, so I've actually had a number of practice sessions on it, getting used to it, kind of learning my way around it, in addition to the recordings I made for this video. So I have to say it's been enjoyable to get to know this instrument, and it's just a great instrument. There's no question about that. This review is just going to walk through a few of the categories I look for when testing out an instrument and to share some of my thoughts about that. The categories are going to be sound, articulation, flexibility or slotting, upper and lower register, and dynamic range. The first category we're going to cover is going to be sound. Now, sound is the first category that I listen for. It's the first category a lot of people listen for, and for good reason. The sound you make on your instrument is what connects you to other people. I think the sound of this instrument is one of its strongest attributes. It's a very focused, a very dense, and a very brilliant sound. These are all attributes that I look for as an orchestral trumpet player because it helps me be heard in the hall with less effort expended, which is a good thing when you're playing Mahler symphonies, Tchaikovsky symphonies, things like that. I find that this trumpet has a very wide color spectrum, from very aggressive sounds to being able to make very beautiful lyric sounds, and to do it pretty easily. Overall, like I said, this sound produces a free and an easy and a brilliant sound. It's one of the strongest parts of this trumpet, and it's one of the things that made me really keep going with it. The next category we're going to cover is going to be articulation. The reason I choose to focus on articulation or response, that's another way to think about it, next is because how easy it is to produce sound on your instrument will affect everything else down the line in terms of production. For me, the articulation and the response of this instrument is definitely its strongest suit. I find myself being able to produce a nice ping at the beginning of each note. They're consistent. There's just no trouble whatsoever producing sound easily on this horn. Overall, I find this instrument to provide a lot of security in its articulation, which is great to help me have a lot of confidence in my ability to play no matter how I'm feeling. The next category we're going to cover is flexibility and slotting. And by slotting, I just mean how easy is it to find the center of each note. Overall, I think the flexibility and the slotting of this instrument is good. When you're on and everything's working, it's super easy to get around this instrument. One of the things I did notice with the flexibility and the slotting is that the slots are so defined that if you were just a little bit out, if you aimed in just the wrong spot, I was more likely to miss than on my instrument, my one that I'm used to, where I have a little bit more play within the slot itself. Again, overall, this is a great instrument in terms of how easy it is to get around, but it's clear to me that there would be an adjustment period for me to get used to how this instrument feels to blow air through it, that's all. The next category we're going to cover is the upper and lower register of this instrument. Now, the upper register, I wouldn't say is bad, and I wouldn't say it's great. It's sort of like right in the middle. I don't think it allows access to the upper register any easier than any other instrument I've played, but it's definitely not hindering you either. It's pretty easy to just blow some air going straight up there and to be able to get these notes to sing and ring. The lower register, however, really stands out to me. I found it so easy to center on these notes. It felt like it was really open, like I could just play as loud as I wanted to play. It was very reliable. I was really pleased with how the low register felt on this instrument. In terms of upper and lower register, overall, I just think it's pretty easy to get around this instrument, to get into the upper register, to get into the lower register. And again, the low register especially is a highlight of this instrument. The final category we're going to cover is going to be the dynamic range of the instrument. And by dynamic range, I just mean how easy is it to play loud, how easy is it to play soft, how easy is it to get there from one and the other, that kind of thing. When I first played loudly on this instrument, something like Mahler 5, when I started tonguing really hard, I felt like the instrument almost couldn't handle it, like it was kind of breaking up. And I thought, oh, this is weird, like this is not going to work. But as I've had it for a few days and played it longer, I've been able to actually get used to it, and I don't find that to be nearly as much of a problem. The soft dynamics on the instrument are a similar kind of thing. With my old instrument, I'm used to a certain way I have to blow into the instrument to produce a soft sound, and it's just in a slightly different place on this instrument. So although I honestly think it's pretty easy to make a soft sound, I found myself airballing when I first started trying to do it just because I'm not used to where the point of resistance is in the instrument. Overall, much like the flexibility category, I think that this horn has a great dynamic range. It would just take me some time to get used to the instrument and figure out exactly where I need to aim and kind of how to manage the dynamic ranges. All right, everyone, that's going to be all for this video review of this Shires 4S8 C trumpet. I hope this was helpful for you to hear some of my thoughts about the instrument and to hear me demonstrate it as well. And you should definitely let me know down in the comments below what you think of this instrument as well. If you found this video helpful or enjoyable to watch, I'd really appreciate it if you click the like button down below. And don't forget to subscribe to Houghton Horns so that you can stay up to date on all the content they're producing on this channel. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.